Welcome to Rotten Damians. Today we are discussing The Rental. Dave Franco made a horror movie. Have you ever wondered what would happen if somebody was spying on you at an Airbnb? Or maybe if someone is living in that one locked room? You know how there's always at least one locked room in the house? Well, in The Rental, Dave Franco explores this idea.
I was inspired by my own paranoia about the concept of home sharing.
The movie was written by Dave and Jo Swanberg. They decided to take a much slower and more cinematic approach to the movie, or as Dave explains it,
a smart genre film, a film that takes the scares seriously, but also prioritizes everything else.
I really appreciated this approach because it wasn't a traditional slasher horror movie like Halloween. Instead, it felt like a drama with horror elements sprinkled in. It made the movie feel very academic, the characters well-rounded, and the scares that much more terrifying.
Really, at its core, it is about these characters, and we use the horror elements to kind of just sprinkle on top.
On one end of the movie, we explore the conflict between these incredibly well-developed characters. But on the other side, there is a killer lurking about in the shadows. As the conflict between the characters deepens, so do the horror aspects. But enough about the nitty-gritty, let's get into the movie. Spoilers ahead. The movie begins by showcasing cinematic shots of a house on a cliff. Fun fact, the Airbnb used in this movie is real and it can be rented. I also enjoyed the fact that the house is located on a cliff because it adds a sense of claustrophobia, almost as if the characters are trapped. I also want to point out the incredible cinematography of this movie. You will frequently get shots where it seems like someone is peering in from the outside, almost like a peeping Tom. For example, this one. Or we then pan out from the computer screen where Mina and Charlie are speaking about renting the Airbnb for the weekend. Mina and Charlie are co-workers, but they're looking a little bit too cozy. Mina is dating Josh, who is Charlie's brother, and Charlie is married to Michelle. The movie features some big names like Jeremy Allen White and Alison Brie. I'm glad that they could get some time off from the restaurant and community college to go away for the weekend. The group arrive at the Airbnb and we meet Taylor, who is the home caretaker. We also found out that he was racist towards Mina, who is an Iranian woman. She tried to book the house in her name, but Taylor rejected her. Then, when Charlie, a white male, requested the house, Taylor accepted him. Like I've said before, the horror genre has long been used to discuss socio-economic issues, and I think Dave tackled this issue very well. The movie is not a racism allegory, but this scene does make you think, how would you react in this situation? Mina confronts Taylor and the rest of the group kinda become uncomfortable, forcing her to drop the issue, which I think is unfortunately a very real reaction. So I thought it was a nice way to comment on a very real and relevant issue in the world today. The group settle into the house and we get some iconic Dave Franco writing and humor.
Long walk along the ocean.
Man, get that sand between your bros.
Perfect Rome away from Rome.
I mean, does this not remind you of Neighbors?
Balls before dolls.
Nuts before skinny sluts.
Masturbate before ask her to date.
It's got Dave Franco written all over it. The movie is also filled with dark humor, which serves as a much needed break from the drama between the characters. The group go for a walk on the beach, where Charlie and Mina are again a little bit too cozy. It forces Josh and Michelle to share their insecurities regarding their partner's work relationship. It also serves as a little foreshadowing. I love how the movie kind of plays a cat and mouse with the plotline. We will have minutes where the movie focuses on its drama. Then, we'll have a scene that reminds us that someone is lurking in the shadows. The gang get home and crack a broski and a little molly. But Michelle and Josh pass out, leaving Mina and Charlie to explore the hot tub alone. Charlie and Mina try to fight their urges, but ultimately they commit the ultimate bro down and commit infidelity. Mina and Charlie decide they're too hungover to go on the planned hike, so they stay behind while Josh and Michelle go. During the hike, we found out that Charlie started dating Michelle whilst in another relationship, and that he had done this with his former partner too. So basically, Charlie's a piece of and I feel less bad for Michelle, because well, you lose them how you get them. Josh on the other hand is completely innocent and Mina really did him dirty. Back at the house, Mina finds a camera in the shower head. She tells Charlie and they decide to keep it a secret because this means that the infidelity was recorded. So if they tell the others, they may find out. Remember how I said that the horror stuff increases as the character conflict does? Well, it's about to get real. Michelle misses the warning and invites Taylor over to fix the hot tub. He fixes it, but before he leaves, Mina calls him over to the bathroom. She shows him the camera and accuses him of placing it there. But Taylor is adamant that he is innocent, so he tries to call the cops. But Mina realizes that if he does, she'll be forced to come clean about her affair, so she attacks him, and Taylor tries to break free. Josh hears the commotion and attacks Taylor, thinking that he's protecting his lady. He knocks Taylor out, and it's a nice little continuity from the beginning of the movie, where Charlie tells us,
Served jail time for nearly beating a guy to death.
with Taylor lying unconscious in the bathtub, the gang meet outside to discuss what had just happened. Mina lies, saying that Taylor placed the cameras and attacked her, and she conveniently leaves the affair out, while Mina is updating the group. Inside of the house, a masked man emerges from the shadows and suffocates Taylor. Michelle goes inside to call the cops, but first she takes on Taylor and discovers that he is dead. Everyone in the group except for Michelle agrees to discard the body without involving the cops. I would also imagine that they feel pretty guilty, considering if they hadn't had their affair and came clean to the group, they would not be in this situation. Michelle packs a bag to leave so that she is not an accomplice to murder, but whilst packing she begins hearing running water. She tracks down the source, showcasing Mina and Charlie's affair. While this is happening, the others are throwing Taylor's body off the cliff. Allison gets in the car and takes off, which I fully support. Unfortunately, whilst driving, she drives over metal spikes. She sits in the car about to call for help when the killer comes sprinting towards her. This is probably my favorite scene in the movie. The killer uses Michelle's phone to lure Charlie out, and he takes a metal pipe to the face. He gets a spanking that he deserves. The killer then uses Charlie's phone to send Josh the video of Mina and Charlie getting it on. Josh, in a fit of rage, searches the house, trying to find his brother. I never understood why people being cheated on always go looking for the other person, and they just ignore their partner. I mean, the partner's at fault too. Anyway, he opens a closet and the killer hits him with a hammer. Josh falls to the ground and he uses his remaining seconds trying to stop the killer from chasing Mina. He really did love her. The killer tries to hammer it into Josh's skull that she cheated. Mina confuses the killer by throwing one of her shoes off the balcony, making it look like she is outside. Meanwhile, she is hiding in the room. I appreciated this scene because it shows how human and developed the characters are. They're not just generic meatbags that exist for a kill. Mina and the killer embark on an epic chase montage where in the end, she runs off the cliff. Speak about a cliffhanger. In the closing of the movie, we see the killer collect all of his tools, which includes a portable Wi-Fi hidden in the ceiling. This is a nice callback to earlier in the movie where Charlie saw an unknown Wi-Fi connection. I also like that they don't show the killer's face because he could be anybody. He has no motive and he is not an iconic character like Michael Myers. He's just an average guy, which is terrifying. We then see a montage of the killer renting another Airbnb and setting up his equipment, meaning that he has committed many of these murders in the past and plans on committing many more. If you enjoyed this breakdown, please like, comment and subscribe. It really helps the channel grow and for me to reach my goals. I love the movie, and I would give it 8 Rotten Damians out of 10. The acting is outstanding, the cinematography is beautiful and thought out, the scares aren't cheap, the characters are well developed, and the chemistry between the cast is impeccable. Movies like this make me excited about the horror genre because it will help remove the stigma that horror movies are cheap and sloppy. Horror is just as creative and groundbreaking as any other genre. Seriously, do yourself a favor and check this movie out. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next week.